Hi everyone, today I'm going to be spending some time in our cut flower garden. We have been having such a beautiful fall and we still haven't had our first frost yet, which is amazing because the flowers are still blooming and looking wonderful. So today I'm going to be going through and just cutting whatever flowers are looking good and putting together some bouquets for our neighbors. I think it'll just be a nice way to finish off this growing season and get one last flower harvest before our cold really sets in. First thing I'm going through here are our zinnias, and we have lots of colorful varieties growing. Some of the zinnias are looking a little bit more spent and some of the leaves are also getting powdery mildew, but that's totally fine because we strip off the leaves for bouquets anyway, and once you take those leaves off, the flowers look perfect. I have a bunch of different mixes here, but today I am mostly picking some Bennery's Giant zinnias as well as some Queen Lime Red and Orange zinnias. Next, I'm actually going through this area that is not planted for cut flowers. It's actually just a cover crop. It's a mix of peas and oats, but the peas are starting to bloom, and I think that this will be a really nice foliage filler kind of plant for the bouquets. So I'm going to be cutting some of these. The stems are really nice and long, and they have these really pretty curly vines that I think will add a lot of cool interest and texture to these bouquets. And you can see those really cute little purple pea flowers that are starting to form as well. Some of these even have little baby peas. I think that'll add a really unique touch to these bouquets. I think it's kind of fun to break the rules when it comes to putting things in arrangements and cut flower bouquets. And you can use things like these peas that are normally considered just a food crop, as long as you think that it's pretty. This pea foliage probably doesn't have the longest vase life, but I think it will get at least 4 to 5 days off of it. Next, we're going through and picking some of this gomphrena. It is still doing so amazing and pumping out so many stems. This is such a nice, easy flower to cut as well because those stems are so long and there's so many of them and there are no leaves to strip off. And I also think that this bright red color is going to make for a really nice addition to a more fall type of color palette. Then I'm going to pick some of these strawflowers. I haven't used too many of these in bouquets throughout the year because I've been picking so many of them to dry, but at this point I have pints and pints of dried strawflowers and they are still producing so much that now I'm finally letting myself cut some of these for bouquets, and I think they're going to make such a nice bright colorful addition. Next, we're going to pick some snapdragons, which have been doing amazing in this fall weather. They didn't really do much during the heat of the summer, but now is really their time to shine. I am definitely picking some of these Madame Butterfly bronze snapdragons. They are so wonderful and fluffy, and they're like the perfect pink color. And then I just have a couple other mixes of colors, so I'm just gonna pick whatever looks good. I like to pick the stems that still have a couple of buds that haven't opened yet at the top. That way they can continue to open in the vase. And that bunch of snapdragons is just so perfect and beautiful. For another foliage filler kind of plant, I'm going to be picking some Thai basil. These plants have gotten so big and bushy and there are lots of stems and they're still blooming really nicely right now. And when you pick these, the smell is really incredible. This is going to be a really nice foliage for the bouquets, and those flower spikes will also add some nice interest as well. Next, we're going to be picking some dahlias. Dahlias don't have a super long vase life. This is another one that you can maybe get like 4 or 5 days off of, and to make sure that you get the freshest flowers, you should check the back of them and make sure that they look really nice and fresh. If they're starting to deteriorate, you can probably just skip over that because you're not going to get a very long vase life off of those. And even though these don't get a super long vase life, they're so pretty that I just had to include a few of these. And these dahlias are covered with bees all the time. Whenever I'm picking them, there are bees on them. So even as I'm holding these, the bees were just flying to the flowers that I had already picked. It's pretty incredible that even in late October, I am able to pick all of these beautiful fresh flowers from the garden, and this is just such a nice, beautiful bucket of flowers to work with, and I'm going to start putting together some small little bouquets that we can drop off to brighten our neighbors' days. And these are just going to be some mixed bouquets. I'm just going to take a few of each variety of flower and foliage that I picked. There's not really going to be any rhyme or reason. I'm just going to make each one very colorful and not really stick to any specific color palettes. Just making sure that I try and balance the number of flowers between the 4 bouquets that I'm making today. And as I was making these, those bees again are just drawn to the flowers. They absolutely love the dahlias especially. And this one bumblebee was just on this bouquet the entire time I was making it. And even as I was turning the bouquet, she just stayed right there and did not want to move at all. So the general way that I put these bouquets together is that I just take a few stems and then I try to angle my stems about like 15 degrees in my hand and just keep laying all additional stems at that same angle. That way you end up with like a nice twist as you're going along. And once I have maybe like 15 to 20 stems, I think that's going to be enough for each of these so that I have enough to make 4 bouquets. So then I'll just trim off the stems at the bottom and tie a rubber band around these. After that first bouquet was done, you can see that bee is still there having a great time, and I'm just going to continue on with the 3 other bouquets. Here is my bucket full of the 4 different arrangements. It looks so pretty all together. I think that each one has its own unique little touch, even though they all started off with the same kinds of flowers. And I think that the pea tendrils especially add a really whimsical touch as well. With all of the reds and oranges, I think these are going to be some really nice bouquets for fall, and I hope that our neighbors really enjoy these. Hope you guys enjoyed this quick video. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you again next time.